Morning world, it's Tuesday the 1st of November 2022. This is not a video on November, I'll do that tomorrow or the next day. Yesterday and the day before there were a lot of parties in a number of different places in the world around the Halloween festival, All Hallows Eve. I could go and talk about the thing in Korea, which is deeply tragic, seriously. And in the last few days, there's been a lot of stuff going on while I've been away. There's this stuff in India, stuff in Korea, stuff in Brazil. Yeah, I go away for 2 or 3 days and the world goes to pot. But I want to look at Halloween. Halloween is one of the old Celtic festivals. Now, the word Celtic is a coverall, it's a misnomer. No one can actually say for certain who the Celts were, who the Celtic races are, where the word Celtic comes from. But there's certainly a very strong link with the word Celtic with the Republic of Ireland, with much of Western Scotland, if not all of it, certainly with elements of Western and Northwestern Wales and even Southwest England. A lot of modern pagans will consider themselves as having a Celtic root or following a Celtic philosophy, even though many people would be hard defined to actually express what a Celtic philosophy is. Halloween, or All Hallows Eve, or Samhain as it should be known in the Celtic lore, is one of the major events in the Celtic calendar. There is a strong school of thought across many different Western Celtic cultures that in ancient times there were only 2 seasons, summer and winter, and that the borderline for these 2 times were indeed Samhain and Beltane, 6 months apart. And there's strong anecdotal history of many bonfires at these times, the Beltane fires and the Samhain fires. I found myself over the last 2 or 3 days in Southwest Ireland, visiting members of the same tribe as me. I don't have many people in my tribe. And I was very privileged to be in the deep southwest of Ireland, in places with exotic names such as Skibbereen, Schull and particularly Ballydehob, let alone Fulnamuck. The pronunciation of his Celtic names gets me sometimes. And I was able to witness the way that the Irish folks celebrate All Hallows Eve, Halloween, particularly in the village of Leap, L-E-A-P. The Brits might pronounce it Leap, but it's actually pronounced Leap in Southern Ireland. And on driving through there must have been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of zombies, ghouls, witches, hags, wizards, and the odd tax collector and road cleaner, all along the roadsides, all dressed up. And you wouldn't want to drive there through that village at night if you didn't know what you were doing, because the kids have draped all the trees with these hanging ghouls from the branches overhead as you're driving through. So if you're driving through at night with your lights on and you suddenly turn a corner and there's all these white ghouls falling out of the sky at you, it's quite challenging. I saw a wonderful parade of must have been 50 or more tractors, steam engines, steam rollers, in preparation for a threshing or ploughing festival. Everyone enjoyed themselves so much. So a big thank you to the contingent in Ireland and the people in Ireland. You know who you are. Thank you. But just to put a bit of a damper on it, from an astrological perspective, the 4 cross quarter points the old Celtic festivals, if you like, Imbolc, Beltane, Lammas, Samhain, these are intersecting in between the solstices and the equinoxes. So starting with winter solstice on December 21st, you've got Imbolc, spring equinox, this is in the northern hemisphere of course, then Beltane, summer solstice, Lammas, autumn equinox, Beltane, and back to winter solstice again. But from, Samhain and back to winter solstice again. But from Samhain through to Imbolc, across the 3 months, from late October, early November to early February, this is the Northern Hemisphere winter. However, astrologically, the dates for these events don't actually coincide exactly with the way that the festivals are arranged in this day and age. Astrologically, the pattern for these festivals follows the eightfold path. For example, Imbolc would be exactly halfway between winter solstice and spring equinox. Beltane halfway between spring equinox and summer solstice. Lammas halfway between summer solstice and autumn equinox. And Samhain halfway between autumn equinox and winter solstice. If that were to be the case, and I believe it is the case, then the true Samhain, when the veils between the worlds are at the thinnest, which is where the ghosts and ghoulies come through, then the true Samhain this year would be around just before midnight on the 7th of November of this year, which is the halfway point when the sun will be at 15 degrees of Scorpio. Now, as it happens, on the 8th of November, we have a total eclipse of the moon at 16 degrees of Scorpio, very close to the Samhain point. I also note that on the 5th of May next year, there is a partial eclipse of the sun at 14 degrees 58 of the moon, at 14 degrees 58 of Scorpio. So there'll be another eclipse of the moon 6 months on, almost precisely on the Beltane point. So 2 eclipses of the moon 6 months apart. One's total and the other's about 90–95% total. 6 months apart to the day. And this tells me that this set of eclipses that we're living in now, which a lot of people are making a lot of hype and spin about, especially amongst the, how can I put it, I don't want to sound rude, but large numbers of the astrological community who should know better are suggesting that this is sort of apocalyptic times because of the eclipses. And I just think they're talking out of their rectums, to be honest. Nevertheless, the fact that we have these two eclipses of the moon, one total, one near total, 6 months apart, on the Beltane and on the Samhain points, suggests to me that we are living in times that are epoch changing. And I will cover this more in the next couple of days. I've got a video to do tomorrow on November, and I've got a video to do on the eclipse on November the 8th, and this will happen in the next 2 or 3 days. Meantime, I got back to the UK late last night. I flew in on Samhain from Southern Ireland. Thank you, Southern Ireland. You hosted me brilliantly. I saw so many rocks and crystals, and I saw so many open, beautiful countrysides, and I met so many good people. You know who you are. Thank you, and I'll catch you later, world. Bye.